Coming to you live from No Excuse, it's Sebby. Today, guys, hey, I wanted to talk about training shoes. Shoes for training. What do you wear when you are training? Kind of in the fitness world, you'll see, in my eyes, 3 different types of shoes. You'll get, your first kind of classic Chuck Taylor, flat. They have a 0 drop, which means they have no elevation in the heel. They are very narrow, guys. Very narrow shoes. Kind of take note of that. Next type of shoe is a lifting shoe, right? So you can kind of tell here, right? They have an elevated heel. It's very firm. This is good for squatting and your Olympic lifts. An Olympic lifting shoe gives you, with that elevated heel, gives you a little bit more ankle mobility that you wouldn't necessarily have, given our lifestyle, right? So, gives you a little bit more ankle mobility. Again, very narrow, kind of, guys, right? So take note of that. Again, very narrow. Third type of shoe is a kind of run-of-the-mill training shoe. So, squishy, kind of elevated heel. Again, very narrow, right? So you're kind of all season tire of shoes. These are all, they're good shoes, right? They're good shoes. I got nothing wrong with shoes, but they are very constricting and very numbing to your feet. Your feet are very kind of, they're your foundation. So they are, what you're standing on all the time, right? And because of these shoes, because of this constriction and then the numbingness because of that big foam cushion, they limit your feet to what they're supposed to be doing, which is the feelers of the ground, right? They're very, they're supposed to be taking in, the world around you, right? They're supposed to feel the ground. And now this is a big problem in my eyes. It's a huge problem because it causes, if you have dysfunctional feet, it causes a dysfunctional body. Over time, right? If you have these kind of fallen arches, flat feet, you're going to develop ankle problems, right? Then, kind of keep on going up the chain, you'll develop knee problems, right? From there, right, your hips might generate a dysfunction with being kind of offset. Then go from there. Your spine gets thrown off, and so on and so forth. So, like I said, dysfunctional feet equals a dysfunctional body. So this is, to me, a huge problem because it's not really looked at in the fitness world. Because, plain and simple, it's not sexy. You can cover your feet up with socks, you cover your feet up with shoes, you don't see them in the mirror, right? So they're not a group of, a muscle group that is overlooked, or that is looked upon. So for myself, I train my feet, and I do this every day. If you've come to the gym, to my gym, if you see my little brother and I, we're barefoot for the majority of the day. And so, that's kind of step number 1, being barefoot, right? Kick those shoes off, right? Spend some time being barefoot, right? You'll notice you'll have sensitive feet. You'll be able to feel the ground around you. That's kind of step number 1. Step number 2, right, is you can take a lacrosse ball. You can put this on the ground, you can put your foot on top and start rolling it around, right? So this is kind of going to help break up some of those tonic muscles, right? Kind of regain some feeling, regain some movement in those confined, numbed, constricted feet because of the shoes that we wear. Third is you can start wearing toe spreaders. So I don't have them with me right now. I didn't freaking bring them. But they are things that spread your toes. You can wear them all the time and kind of regain some of that splayed toe-ness that you have, that you kind of naturally have. If you look at baby's foot, right? nice and wide. They can wiggle almost every single toe, and they're nice and wide, and there's big gaps in between each. It almost looks like a hand, right? There's big gaps in between each digit. Now, guys, kind of to keep on going with this, right? Right, that's the fourth step. There's a fourth step that I always friggin' forget, but I don't forget because I tell people to do it all the time, is dig their flippin' toes into the ground. Imagine you have claws for feet, right? You want to dig those into the ground, right? You're going to kind of develop a little bit of an arch. If you have fallen arches, dig your toes in the ground. You'll develop an arch. Dig those toes in the ground. When you're moving around, when you're walking around, dig those toes into the ground as you just stand even. And you're going to feel kind of the muscles in your feet activate. This is something that I do on the daily, right? And so, like I said before, if you know my brother and I, we're barefoot the majority of the time. And, if we're going out in the real world and we do need to wear some shoes, the shoes that we wear are a Vivo Barefoot, right? These shoes are great. They're kind of the best purchase I have made, I would say, ever. They, look great in my eyes. They have zero drop, right? They are completely flat, flat. They have a nice wide toe box to let those toes spread out. You can wear the toe spreaders in these things. They are awesome, right? You can see that I can squish them all up. They are great. Vivo Barefoot. Guys, so those are the shoes that I wear because they let me keep in contact with the ground. Yeah, guys, we were born barefoot, so reclaim your feet. Try to take a holistic approach to your training. Train yourself from the ground up. It's going to help you, unlock a, potential that it was kind of locked up because of wearing these confining shoes. Guys, thanks for listening. Peaces.